Can we expect any live performances of Dr. Dark?
Well, nothing is in the works at this point. Um, Not for Dr. Dark, anyway. I mean, the residents really feel that it needs to be. They don't think a band on tour can do it justice. It really needs to be a full-on theatrical production, and so their hope at this point is that the album will come out. It will garner enough attention that then a producer or a production company will want to get involved and make a theatrical production happen.
Yep.
But what they are doing is they're working on um, a touring version of their Eskimo album, which should be happening in the fall of this year.
Oh, amazing. Is that going to be a US tour? Europe? Do you know?
U.S., Europe, and possibly Japan.
Oh my goodness, that'll be amazing. Did I see the residents were doing a couple of museum shows just recently? Or are those
Uh,
coming up?
well, they did a show in Paris with a guy. His name is Loris Griot. And Loris is a world-class conceptual sculptor.
Hmm.
Uh, when I first met him 10 years ago, he had two pieces at that time. One was in the Pompidou and one was in the Louvre at the same time. Um, I mean, you don't get any more world class than that. And so he had a show um, about a year ago. Um, he took over the entire Petit Palais Museum in Paris,
Wow.
which is fairly huge. And the whole thing was all conceptual sculpture. And this went up um, in October, a year ago, this past October. So October 2023. And it was up for about 6 weeks. And his point of view, the perfect ending to the show, which would have been January 2024, would have been a one song concert by the residents.
Hmm.
And so they wrote a piece of music for it. Everybody was planning on going, and then some kind of conflict came up. There's some kind of Paris artist organization that oversees artwork and installations and whatever in Paris. I don't know if his conflict was with them or if it was with the Petit Palais, but anyway, ultimately, he wanted to move the show to a different place and it got into conflicts, and so then his show got moved from one museum or gallery to another, and with the idea of moving this residence thing with it. And then it finally happened in October of last year. And it was part of Art Basel Paris. And there's a theater in Paris called the Châtelet, which is spectacular. It's like a uh, 19th century gem.
Hmm.
And so they, whoever, I don't know if it was, probably wasn't him, it'd be too expensive. Art Basel, somebody hired that for a free concert, and the residents went over and did their one song concert.
Oh,
Uh,
was that recorded?
yeah, it was. And we are planning on ultimately doing a release of it of some kind. Unfortunately, Loris has had some kind of health problems since early in the year. And I've corresponded with his his assistant, Maureen, who is delightful, and she's really great. and Antoine was the sort of engineer producer on their side. I know all the tapes are there. I know they've been working on them.
Hmm.
But the fact that he's had health problems has kind of slightly, derailed it for a while.
Do you think the song made him sick?
Well, it's always possible, I guess.
uh,
Personally, I think he works too hard. I think he
mm,
needed a vacation more than
mm,
anything else. He's a really interesting guy, but he just has one of these like high pressure, high stress projects after another set up. I mean, maybe this is what it takes to be that level of a success. I don't know.
yeah.
But I I like him a lot. I appreciate him. I do not envy him.
Hmm. We got a question from Victor Cantu on Facebook. When I mentioned on one of Andreas's posts that you and I were talking today, and he said, "What do the residents think about bands putting subliminal messages into music?"
Uh, well, I mean, honestly, I think it's a waste of time. Um, whatever. I mean, people put their messages in there however they want to, I guess. But it's nothing that, I mean, it's kind of interesting. The residents were working on um, their last album. Oh, the blues. I'm forgetting the title of it now. Oh, Metal, Meat, and Bone. And ultimately, their original idea was to create all of these kind of blues riffs by taking Led Zeppelin riffs and playing them backwards. Uh, uh, and uh, and they tried it, and they went, well, interesting idea, doesn't work.
uh, that's funny.
So they
Um,
bailed. Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever seen, back to the Dr. Dark stuff and subliminal messages. There's a comedy show called Mr. Show. Have you heard of this?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
David Cross and Bob Odenkirk, but they have a comedy sketch sort of based on on this story with James Vance, where this heavy metal band called Titanica, they write a song called "Try Suicide," and there's this. They go to visit this fan in a hospital who tried suicide and survived, and he was going to jump into a vat of acid, and because he was pulled out, and so the band goes to visit this guy in the hospital, and they lift the covers over the guy's body, and he's just this big sausage. He's like got these sausage arms. Definitely, like, it's funny to hear like your take on it, and there's a comedian take on it, but this idea of like try suicide. I think the Judas Priest song, was it called "Do It," or that was the message?
That was supposedly the message, I think.
Yeah. What was the song called? Do you remember?
I don't know. I
Yeah, I
don't.
don't know either. But anyway, that's beside the point. What can we expect from the residents in 2025?
Well, primarily what they're working on right now is this Eskimo performance. Um, but they have also started writing music for their next album, which they are promising will be X-rated. Um, now, I've learned long ago, I've heard their promises in the past. That may or may not be true, but it makes a good talking point.
What could be X-rated about a residents album?
Uh, well, uh, latent pornography.
Oh, all right. Pornographics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right, right.
Is this? Can we expect a faithful rendition of Eskimo, or will this be more like the recent uh, tours where songs like "Hello Skinny" and "Constantinople" were creatively reinvented for you know a different band?
I think it will be somewhere in between. I mean, they don't really want to try to create the album the way it is, but they feel a certain allegiance to the mood and feeling of it. Uh,
it's a
Yeah,
very sparse recording. There's a lot of, I mean,
wind.
yeah, some people say it's one of the first ambient music albums. Do you agree with that?
Well, I mean, I can see how somebody might see it that way. I certainly don't see it that way. I mean, you know, it is an album of sound, and the Residents' whole idea was to be telling stories with sounds.
Hmm.
And I mean, you would probably have to read along with the liner notes to follow how those sounds are illustrating those stories. But then on the other hand, there are plenty of people who don't pay any attention to that at all. My ex-wife, the mother of my older daughter, she used to love playing Eskimo out the window of our house on Halloween. Uh, and you know, the residents, everybody thought that was a great idea. That was a novel way to look at the album and present it. And uh, you know, so once again, the residents have always loved for people to read between the lines, and they love making the lines far enough apart. There's a lot of room to read between, and
Hmm.
I think Eskimo's a great example of that.
Coming up on 50 years, 48 years, right? Since the album came out, 77.
Yeah, yeah.
We talked a little about using the AI art tools. Have you tried AI music, the music generation?
You know, I kind of looked into it a little bit. Um, And it's kind of like if I wanted a lot of different variations of bossa nova, it seemed like it would be really great for that. But at least the stuff that I checked out, which has been, I don't know, 6 months or a year ago, it wasn't really advanced enough to be able to do anything. I mean, what I would love to do would be to take a Resonance album, take Demons Dance Alone and put that in it as a prompt and see what it spit out. Uh, Seems like fun to me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Homer. Thank you so much for giving us some time. I guess I have one quick question
Yeah.
before we go. In a previous interview, I asked you about the music you were listening to. You mentioned a really interesting Norwegian band and a couple other artists. Uh, what are you listening to lately? What music has caught your ear, uh, or even visual art? What are you seeing or hearing that piques your interest?
Um, it's interesting. There is a guy, a French musician. I think his name is Rene Aubry. And part of what's interesting to me about him is it's like his stuff is not out at all. In a lot of ways, it's very conventional, but he just has a great feel for interesting arrangements and melodies. And so I've listened to a pretty good amount of his stuff on Spotify.
Excellent. All right, Homer. Thanks again. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk about Dr. Dark. And for people looking to buy this album, if you go to the Red website, it's Europe only, right? I believe
Yeah,
so.
MVD, Music Video Distributors, uh, you know, they own, I own half of the Cryptic Corporation. Okay, MVD owns 25% and Cherry Red owns 25%.
Mm.
So both of them have online stores, but I'm sure you can buy it on Amazon too. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not that hard to find.
yeah, I heard it was on Amazon. I got mine at a local store called Zia Records. But yeah, go buy this album. It's fantastic. Go check out the art. You cannot get this on Spotify. You can't get the script on Apple Music.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
go buy the booklet. Go buy the CD, the vinyl, double vinyl. It's excellent. Homer, thanks again. Really appreciate you.
yeah. Thank you, Anthony. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks a lot.